do you remember last week when we did the little shit with the phase 3?
Yes.
Well, it was funny because we fucking put so much effort into that, right? And we were like, I remember on the episode, I even said, "Oh, you have to watch this shit on YouTube. That's the only way you're gonna be able to see what we're talking about." Doug, here we are a fucking week later. That episode was edited with video and everything. I still haven't uploaded that episode onto
Ah,
YouTube. So
I was
people
wondering.
probably are like, what the
I thought you
fuck did
just
they
blocked
mean?
me or something.
Since we last actually met, Covino and Rich actually went to the San Francisco 49ers game
49ers.
where Jimmy G broke his ankle or leg
Rich
or
is
foot
bad
or some
luck, bro.
shit.
Rich is a bad omen.
Oh, and then did you hear Rich talking about some lady, I guess some old white lady was like, "Shouldn't you be on the field?" I guess she was telling him that he looked like Jimmy G, and that
Yeah,
made
because of
Rich's
his
head
fucking because his burns.
way way big.
Nah, did it explode this time? That
It was
fucker's
getting
already
close.
big, bro. His head's more like a calabaza. It's more like a pumpkin. I
There,
wanted to fucking carve Rich Davis in my pumpkin on Halloween.
one of the things that they mentioned, Doug, and I thought of when I heard this, I automatically thought El Cucuy
What?
because they were talking about some dude that was on his fucking hustle for the tailgates. So did you hear the tailgate hustle or no?
I know I didn't hear that.
Okay, so the tailgate hustle was this. So when you're tailgating, of course, right? You're in a big ass parking lot, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
got their grills out, whatever, whatever. Well, Covino said that there was this dude that had a little tent set up, which
Mm-hmm.
was like a one person tent that I guess you could kind of stand in. So
Is it tailgate story time? Is that what I hear?
it's tailgate story time. That's
Okay,
where we're at
cool. I
right
got a
now.
couple too.
So there's this dude that had this little tent, I guess, that you could actually walk into. So it's like a little privacy tent.
Mm-hmm.
It's made for people to change,
Okay.
right? So if you're out in public and you're like at a tailgate or some shit, you need to change real quick. You walk into this little one person tent, change, and then you come out. You're Superman, right? You walk in as Clark Kent, you come out as Superman. Well, what this genius fucking tailgate dude had was fucking this little tent. What he did was he put like a fucking Home Depot 5 gallon bucket in there
Uh-huh.
and was like charging people like $5 to take a piss in there rather than having to fucking walk
See,
all the
bro,
way, right?
that's fucking 49er fans for you right there. Really, bro? Raider fans are trying to sell you knockoff fucking, t-shirts and fucking the Sonora hot dogs and beers and shit. And these guys are trying to sell you a place to piss.
You know what though?
Are you
I
fucking
do
kidding me?
I do admire the dude's hustle because that's something, dog, that I
What's he
never
gonna
would have.
carry 5 gallons of Rubbermaid piss? Fuck,
Well,
it's gross,
actually,
bro. Leave it?
hey, you won't believe this though, but Covino actually paid the dude, and
Really?
Covino took a leak in there. Yeah,
How
very,
many
very. I
drunk
feel,
Niner fans missed the thing though? And there's piss all over the floor.
I don't know, very. I feel like it was very uncharacteristic of
Of
Covino to
Covino?
do
Yeah,
that,
he's too clean for
and
that.
I don't know if there was. I didn't catch the whole story. Again, remember, I'm trying to learn a new skill and fucking listen. So I think he said there was like a big ass line at maybe the porta potties they had set up or some shit. But this dude, you go and give him a couple bucks and fucking boom, you're good right there. So you're not getting a knockoff 49ers fucking hoodie,
Not
which
for 20 bucks.
I think Rich paid like $90 for.
Oh, I'm
He got
sure.
himself a 49ers hoodie.
Bro, when we were in
Um,
Oakland, when the Raiders were in Oakland, no bullshit, right? Any Raider fan knows this. When you got off the 880 to go to the fucking Coliseum, they were lining up the off ramp with
mhm.
motherfuckers selling shit. It was like coming back from TJ or the border, bro. They had fucking fools on the off ramp all the way down trying to sell you shit because you would back all the way up because of traffic. Their motherfuckers walking, you ain't even hit the main street yet. And they're trying to sell you fucking beanies and fucking if it's raining, they got the
Well,
fucking Dollar Tree raincoats out there and all that shit.
I remember you even said one time that there was like a taco dude set up on like the
Bro,
overpass or some shit.
he was selling the Sonora hot dogs with the bacon and the pico and yeah,
Yeah,
bro, and the cebollas.
yeah. Um, yeah, I would be cool with him selling the pico as long as he wasn't selling the pito, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a fucking. What's the difference? This guy letting you whip your pito out for $2 to drain it. That's what I'm saying.
uh
That's the disconnect. But hey,
you know,
I mean, if you got to
let me
piss,
know
you got to
here.
piss.
Yeah, but let me see. They had You know, they were talking this week about how when you know somebody sends you a Christmas card and it's it's the family and you know whatever, some people like to display them. For the most
Right.
part, people are like, hey, you know, thanks for this, and they kind of toss them out. um it got me thinking about things because they were talking about
Do
how
you know what do you
outdated.
do? What do you do with your card?
You know what, I think they go up on the fridge and then fucking, I don't know, maybe go there for like a couple of weeks and then I feel I don't like to toss them out, so I don't know if I've ever tossed them out, but I think my girl will get them and like save them somewhere in a box or something. I'm sure we have a whole group of them from past people, but they were talking about they'll get them and just literally toss them out. And
I think you gotta keep them till at least December 26th.
yeah, I'd feel a little bad toss.
And
I
then
don't think
just
I have
recycle them,
tossed
bro.
them.
That way but you know what? If you recycle them,
You're
you can
helping the
always just
environment.
you're reducing your carbon footprints.
Very true. But one thing, when they were talking about that, it got me thinking, dog, do you remember this like 06, 07, 08, maybe, where for some reason, I don't know if people still have them, if you still have them, I'm sorry, but they were the rage for a minute where people would have these digital photos in their living room on their
Oh,
mantle and shit,
I had
where
one.
it was like of rotating pictures and shit. So it was
That
like
shit
a
was
little
dope.
slideshow.
Oh yeah, it
And
was dope.
I think about that shit, dog. I remember my friend's parents had them in their pad, and I remember at the time thinking like that was fucking the dopest shit. Like that was technology, right? Because you would throw in like what, like a USB or some shit into that, and you would have like a rotating little shit. I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like thinking about how fucking like corny that shit is, and I'm
Corny.
like,
Corny.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
how much ass I got from those things?
no. I
No,
okay.
you want to hear the play or what?
Let me hear it.
So as a single dude, what you do is you get a couple of those motherfuckers. You know me, I like to travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on one of them, you put all the crazy ass food you've eaten in your travels and have that motherfucker on rotation. And then on the other one, you put all the places you done traveled. And then when you got some honeys that you bring over or whatnot, you know, you don't even got to say nothing because they're seeing that shit go back and forth through all the different things, and they just hit you up. And then you just look like a player. You know what I mean, baby girl? This
You
is
know,
everything I
yeah.
don't ate. This is where I went. Oh, you see the 5 pounds of crawfish? That was back in 2010 with such and such. And, you know, we had to get the 5 pound plate in New Orleans. Oh, you see, oh, yeah, that was that one night. Yeah, I was in Kauai and that shit was dope. And
Yeah,
then
no,
boom,
that's definitely, I think it was definitely a talking point. It was basically it was doing the bragging for you.
it
But
was.
looking back at it, I'm just thinking about, to me it's like looking back, it was cool at the time, but I look at it now looking back, it makes me laugh because I think of
I'm gonna go get a
like,
couple right
do
now,
do
bro.
you remember when there would be like a 32-inch TV, right? The box TVs back in the
That's what.
day.
Yep, that's
That
what I'm
shit
gonna
was
do.
fucking huge. And to look back at it now, you're kind of like, really? We were
You just gave me
we
the brilliant idea of the year
what?
because you can do that on those TVs. So I'm not gonna go buy the stupid fucking photo thing. I'm gonna throw a fucking 32-inch TV on the wall and have that fucker rotate.
Yeah,
You
32-inch TV on the wall. But do you remember the big ass one that
the
fucking had
tube?
the box? It was fucking, the TV was bigger than the fucking than your entertainment system. It was like fucking huge.
I do.
And at the time, like a 27-inch TV or a 32-inch TV was like a decent size. Now we look at that and we're like, fuck that. I don't even know if I want that size in my kids' room, you know?
You
Like
just got me excited, bro. You
I
got me
think
a
my
good ass
daughter's got
idea.
I think my daughter's got like a 32-inch TV in her room, a little ass TV, and I'm looking, I'm like, fuck man, we need to upgrade that shit. Or it might be like a 40-inch or something. But we've come so far that now I feel like the minimum what you're having is like what, like a 55-inch or some shit, you know? Um,
Look,
and it's
I got a
just
50
funny.
inch. I got a 50-inch on my dresser. I
Yeah,
got a 39-inch in the guest room.
I got one in my pants.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell Spot.
Oh, there we go. Okay, here we are. First spot
Um,
reference of the day.
oh, you got to leave that one in.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, we will definitely. I
But
know. This past, or go ahead.
well, what I was gonna say is you just gave me the best idea. So now I'm not even gonna get the stupid picture frame no more. I'm just gonna wait because I mean Black Friday they had I think Best Buy had 32 or 40-inch Amazon Fire TVs and they were like $79.
Oh really?
They were cheap. It was like maybe it was a 32, but they were cheap. They were under $100, and that's what I'm gonna do. And so instead of my little picture frames, maybe I'll just have one TV on the wall, a big ass one, have it plugged in. It'll rotate from all my little spots I visited and all the dishes I partook in.
And think about it, nowadays you could throw in like a just like a USB or something where and we could you could have it mounted where it will look dope and it but it's funny because looking back at those little frames that we had, it was like maybe the equivalent of it was. I don't even remember them being as big as like an 8x10. It was like maybe like a 5x7 type, and
Right.
that shit
It
was
was a
like
5x7.
and it
Or
was
even
a
a
little
four
bit
by six, even.
a little bit grainy. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it
like
was
the highest
janky.
quality.
Well, bro, they
It's
were all
just
taken on flip phones.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
for
mean?
sure, for sure.
But you know what though? And if you really want to think about it, like let's dig a little deeper. Let's just do a little deep dive, right?
All
Those
right.
things also tell a story for you, right?
Mhm.
You're already sitting there talking and conversating and macking and trying to spit your game and spill your spill. So let the TV, the monitor, or the picture frame tell a different part of the story where you don't even got to share. Then they'll ask you
Okay.
questions.
So if a bra unclips from the front, do you automatically think she's a whore?
I don't, you know what? I don't think any woman's a whore.
Okay.
I just think
Okay.
I think if they come off, they're just attracted to me.
It was no, I just had a flashback because you're talking about, you're macking your chick, whatever. You have, this new
Mm-hmm.
little shorty over and you're like, well, what's up, baby?
Shouty.
And I was thinking about it reminded me there's an episode again, I bring up King of Queens more than the average person, but there's an episode where they look back at Kevin James and Leah Remini are looking back at when they like first started dating
Okay.
and they haven't hooked up yet. So he's trying to like fucking like fuck with their bra and shit. And
I can do
but
that
she's
shit
like
one-handed, bro. One-handed. I'm a master.
she's like, no, she's like trying to play all innocent, but he knows that she was like a big old whore. So he knows that she's hooked up with like everybody, right?
And he
So
wanted her to be his wife?
this was when they're
I knew I
looking
didn't like
back
that show, bro.
they're looking back at when they first started dating. So he was just trying to hook up with her. And
Right.
then so I
And then she
guess
got him by the boo-boo.
no, so what she did is she's like um she's saying something. She's like, no, like I'm a good girl and all this shit. And then he was like, okay, because she calls him out on it. She's like, yeah, if you would have been fucking smart, you would have learned a long time ago that my bra unhooks from the front. And he was like, oh, okay, your bra unhooks from the front, but you're not a whore. Or you're not easy or whatever the fuck, however they word it, for network TV. But it was fucking funny. So when you're talking about that, you're like, all right, I'm macking this bitch. I got it, this female, I'm macking this girl, this lady, whatever, she's at my pad. And then I was just thinking, is that a clear sign if it's unhooking from the front? Are you like, all right, shit's about to get dirty?
I
Is
don't
that a
care.
clear?
I don't think it matters if it's front or the back. If you aren't clipping that thing, it's about to go down.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, but then we also had some news this week of the passing of Judge Mills Lane.
Man, that's bullshit.
80 something years old, and it's crazy, man, because I don't know if we're just getting older, but I'm
Well,
like,
everyone
I
is.
I think about Mills Lane. I'm like, oh, he was about my grandma's age, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, she's old, but I don't think she's like fucking like about to fucking die old. And so when you see that, you're like, I bet he had a few good years in him still. And then he fucking croaks. So that kind of sucks. What's your background on Mills Lane? You dig him? You remember him as a ref, celebrity death
Yeah,
match, Judge Mills
no,
Lane? Where you at?
no death match. I mean, I seen the shit, obviously, and I saw the judge shit, but no, you can't remember someone for the small roles that came after the big ones, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he was a ref. He was in Mike Tyson fights. He was in a lot of fights. I think he was in like the Marvin Hagler fights and
Did
you,
did he did he ref the Tyson
ear
Holyfield
fight.
fight?
The ear fight.
Okay, 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 yeah.
So just that fight alone was probably I mean, it's one of the most iconic nights in boxing, period. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Good or
Yeah.
bad, call it how you want to. Like, if you were a boxing fan, you know about probably the date that it was the second fight. You know who was the referee. Shit, if
Mm-hmm.
you're hardcore, you might even know how many people were in attendance. Right?
You know what was cool about Mills Lane is that I felt like he was one of those staples in boxing where it was he had his catchphrase, "Let's get it on," right? And then it reminded me of for me, when I think boxing, I think Michael Buffer and I think "Let's get it on." Those are some of the phrases that you remember, of course, right? So
Yes.
that it was so iconic that I feel like, yeah, like I do joke about like Judge Mills Lane because that was kind of something he did, after
I
his
saw
prime
it.
in boxing or reffing in
Didn't that come on
boxing.
right
But
after Cheaters?
I'm sure it did. It does sound familiar. So, but it is. I feel like it is a staple in boxing, where it's another thing I think from our childhood that we're like, fuck, man, we're we're at the age I think where we're starting to see where, like Covino's mentioned, where he remembers growing up hearing his mom, "I can't believe she died, Steven. She was so young." And it's like, really, was she young? Not really. We're just getting older. They were getting older at the time when a lot of the
Okay.
people they saw growing up were passing away.
Steven,
And so I feel like that
you
freaking, what's her
dumbass,
name?
answer your
um
phone.
Kirstie Alley just died, another
Yeah,
person.
that, but you know what, that caught me off guard just because she kept it private. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's one thing, you almost like it's almost like a, I don't know how to word it because I don't want to get blasted, but I mean, when you're watching someone suffer, and they
Hmm.
go, they're out of their misery a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But
Correct.
when they
Yeah.
don't,
No, I
when
feel
they
you.
share that battle with you though, and I can say that because I've watched someone be in pain like that, and you watch them not in pain anymore, and that's what they
My
wanted.
grandpa, my mom's dad, we saw that, and I've had that conversation where I'm like, I don't know what's worse, because I've seen that where he had cancer for years, and seen this man, this big strong man. My grandpa was like a fucking man,
Right.
and to see him in pain and shit for years, where you're like, fuck, man, like when they do pass, it sucks, but you're kind of like you said, they get to chill down, right? And it is different when you do hear news of like, oh, Kirstie Alley dies, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't even know she was sick. Damn, she was battling cancer. You're kind of like, fuck, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That people, and I bet if you would have mentioned her name, Covino and Rich brought this up. If you would have mentioned her name like even 2 months ago or a month ago, people would
Right.
probably made a fat joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people, that was the biggest thing for the last like 15, 20 years about her. People were just bagging on her because she wasn't the chick from Cheers anymore, right? She wasn't the little
But
young.
you know what though? To make a comparison, there's a show I've been watching called White Lotus, and the White Lotus show is dope. It's a tight series. If you want something to watch, if you haven't watched it, I promise to God, watch White Lotus. But with that being said, Stifler's mom's in it, and she's not Stifler's mom anymore. I mean, she's put on some weight. So, but she's also gotten older. She's probably 60 now. I mean, I don't know how old Jennifer Coolidge is, but I would assume she's in her 60s. What happens,
Mhm.
bro? You get older, your metabolism slows down, and if you don't start working out a little bit more, you're gonna gain weight.
You know what you need to do in order for to drop that weight is document it. And I feel like it would be some kind of incentive for you to actually get yourself in check. But I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, if you start stared at it every day,
let me see. Man, but there was some shit we
because
had.
I'll tell you this, and
Mm,
agree with me or choose not to. It's up to you. You ever been so fucked up at night, you got all faded or whatnot, you're hanging with your boys, you guys are drinking, smoking, whatever, and you ordered a bunch of fucking food or pizza at midnight you didn't need, and then you wake up in the morning with fucking gut rot, and when you open that fucking refrigerator, you see all the leftover food you fucking ordered from the night before. What was I fucking thinking? What was I doing? You ever did that?
dog, I've been doing that for the last like fucking like month. I need to get my ass in check, because I've been so like, I had the excuse of like the wedding and shit when we had all the family in town. Like, oh shit, whatever. There's family. You gotta eat with them and converse and whatever. Dog, they've been gone for weeks now, and I'm still fucking eating like a madman. I gotta get my shit in check. I have been
Well, it
trying
happens.
to.
I mean, I
I
do it too.
and I do feel like there's ups and downs when it comes to somebody who isn't blessed with Jeffrey Richardson's fucking genetics. But Jeffrey Richardson. He's somebody on the crawl page that's always talking shit,
The
and
snarl page.
he was bringing up intermittent fasting because Covino talked about it,
I
and
do
he was
that.
like, so that Jeffrey Richardson was like, as somebody that's never struggled with weight, that's never been an issue for me. Do people think this actually works and all this shit? So for people that don't have those genetics, it's up and downs, dog. There was a few weeks ago, or not few at this point. It was a few months ago at this point, but when I had all my surgeries and shit, dog, I was fucking, not only was I not able to eat and shit, but then when I was kicking back, I was going to the gym more.
Right.
And now I just fell off, and I'm like, fuck. I still have been going to the gym, and I've still been going like for walks and trying to get my workouts in, but it's the fucking eating that I haven't fucking kicked back on. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I know I got to keep my fucking gym shit in, maybe up it a little bit, and fucking get kick back on my eating. I was like, I know I'm fucking guilty as fuck. You have your ups and downs, you know. So yeah, right now I'm in a fucking down. So
It happen.
I'm
It
heftier.
happens.
I'm heftier than I've been.
You know what's crazy is it happens, and it happens more often than not. But you know what though? If you're gonna tell other people what they should do, it can't happen,
mm,
right? If you're the Orange Theory instructor, it can't happen. If you're the Spoga guy, it can't happen. If you're
yeah,
inspiration to others, it can't happen.
yeah. If
It
you're a
can't.
social media fucking influencer, and
Richard
you're the
Simmons ain't
fucking,
came out of his house in 8 years.
you
Wonder
think
what he
about
looks
it,
like.
fucking Mike the Situation, right? The whole situation was his fucking abs. If he let those bad boys go, now that's fuck. You can't do that shit. You're the situation.
You're gonna have a situation.
You start doing that shit, you're putting yourself out there where you better fucking stick to your shit because this is your whole image, you know.
Now the situation is his hairline.
Mine was the opposite. I think mine was I'm always been the big dude. So when I started to lose weight, I'm like, I got to get back to my image. So now I'm back at the big dude now. You know, I'm like, I can't get too little. I'm the big guy. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what's
Like,
crazy though, bro? Because even for me, I'm at one of my lower weights right now as an adult. I've been here about 3 times as an adult, roughly floating around 210. And you're right. Like, because even though, I had more pounds on me in previous times, I can't even imagine wanting to go under 200. And I'm sure I could lose enough to go under 200. I'm sure I could be a solid 190 and probably look really, really well and
mm,
trim and lean. But I don't want to be 190, bro. I'd rather be 200 with a little bit of love handles for the ladies to grab on than be 190 and have nothing there.
yeah. No, you know, it's funny because I know you get your like 5 miles in every day. That's one thing that you've been doing that's
Except for
been keeping off
today.
the weights.
Didn't get
And
them today.
well, that's one thing that
Did
if
not get them today, bro.
I fucked up my foot a couple of months ago. Like, let me see, it was October 29th. I know what day it was because it was my buddy's daughter's quince, and I fucked up my foot at the gym. And so it's funny. So the last couple of months, I started fucking not doing the treadmill and shit. I was like, fuck it. Well, when it comes to cardio, I'm gonna do the bike. So
Right.
I every time I get on the bike, because it's lower impact, I don't have to worry about
Yes.
my foot. I go, as soon as I jump on, I'm like, all right. I'm like, Cucuy's been doing 5 miles, his 5 miles every day. I got to do at least 5 miles on this bitch, you know? And it's actually an inspiration to me because I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, Cucuy does shit every day except today. But I'm like, every day he does this shit. I'm like,
And that's only
I'm
because I
here.
fell off. It's only because I fell off a forklift on the concrete in -20 weather. That's the only reason. But no, I didn't do it today.
Yeah, and that's a legitimate reason. I mean, you're falling fucking, 3, 4, 5 feet fucking straight on your side. That, I mean, you're gonna have to fucking kick back, because if you
Well,
don't, I mean, you're being smart about it, because if you don't, you try to go and push yourself, now you're gonna fuck yourself over even more for when you do try to either go to work or fucking go back to the gym or whatever. So
but you know what?
I think it's cool.
I want to touch on that.
What's up?
So I put some on my Instagram page today,
Uh-huh.
and about I've been doing that Duolingo, trying to learn Spanish, whatnot.
Mm,
So I guess it gave me a a message, and it said you completed 613 lessons in Spanish this year,
yeah.
and then it also said top 4% among all learners this year, right? Bro, I did that on the bike.
Oh,
I did that every single one of that, except for
yeah,
maybe 5 minutes a day. I would do one at home, like first thing when I woke up. But I
yeah.
would say a solid 90% of that Duolingo was on the bike, at the gym, or in the sauna.
That's cool. And you know what? Actually, that goes back to a tip that I had seen from somebody on
Tip
YouTube.
Dog or Rob Tip In.
No, well, there's a dude actually that
Shout out those guys.
uh uh like dude who's into fitness and shit that I watch on YouTube that I've been watching for years since that's not even really what his channel is about, but it's kind of evolved into that.
Is his name
And
Spoga Phase 3?
nah. But
Okay.
one thing that he talked about is if you do have like say you're gonna jump on like a piece of cardio equipment and you're gonna put on like a TV show or you're gonna
At least you're
fucking
not
listen to
jumping on
something
man ass.
and it whatever you're gonna you know jump on your bike or whatever you're gonna be listening to music or watching a show or doing there's something that you're gonna be doing while you're doing your cardio.
Okay.
One thing that he mentioned was if you're gonna not even just for cardio but if you're gonna be lifting or whatever, pick like an artist or something that you like or a song you like or whatever that you only listen to at the gym, right? So you know, like, damn, like, oh, even if you're listening to like say a certain podcast, right?
Right.
I need to listen to the
After
after
show,
show,
but
but
later.
later. What the fuck?
Yes.
The fuck was that?
It's
All
the
right.
after show,
So,
but later. That was pretty crazy. That was good.
yeah. Okay. So you're listening to the after show, but later you're listening to Covino and Rich, whatever. But you're like, you know what? I'm only gonna listen if I go to the gym. So you save something for the gym. You only do that at the gym, right? So like your Duolingo, you're like, I'm gonna do this shit in the sauna or on the bike or whatever. That's where
Mm-mm.
you're getting a majority of your lessons. What?
Nope. You know what Duolingo helps me with?
Hmm.
And I'll tell you probably the last 20 times in a row that I went to the gym, I got on the bike, I get even, and I'll slam some energy drink. I'll a Celsius or a Bang or whatever, right? I'll slam like half. And as soon as I hit the bike, I'm like, the last 20 times, I got an admission. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and admit it right here on the show. The last 20 times I've got on the bike,
Oh, you thought Spot had admissions. All right, now it's time for Kukuy's admissions.
Cucuy Phase 3.
All
Um,
right.
every time I've gotten the bike for like the last 20 days in a row, I haven't wanted to ride. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck, man. And I'm trying to talk myself into not riding. But
Yeah.
then I know I'm gonna go back to being chubby again. So I'm like, no, you gotta ride. And the only thing that's getting me through the ride is the Duolingo because it distracts me. By the time I get through one lesson, excuse me, I'm already at a mile. I get
You
through
know
three or
what?
four. What's that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I get through 3 or 4 lessons on there. I'm at
Mm-hmm.
like 4 miles. And then I
Yeah.
crack a lesson or whatnot. And, there's usually like 3 to 4 and sometimes 5 lessons. Like they have these little circles, and like you click on a little bar, whatever, right, to close out the lesson. And a lot of times I'll just knock it out. And now I'm at like 6 miles because I'm like, well, shit, I only got one more little lesson to do and shit, right? I'm not
Yeah.
even paying attention to the ride. I'm still jamming and averaging about 4 minutes a mile. So then I'll just do the last one. And now I'm at like 6.5 miles. So it definitely distracts me from actually the physicality of riding the bike. And it's kind of saved my ass because, like I said, the last like 20 times in a row, I get on the bike and I'm just feeling hella lazy, bro. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling it right now. But I click on that lesson, start doing my shit, boy. Before you know it, boom, mile 1, boom, mile 2.
You know, one thing that I have to keep reminding myself of there's something that you know, I mean it's a very common phrase or whatever, but it's like you don't have to like it, you just have to do it, you know?
You
And
do.
there's the thing is that when it comes to that kind of shit, like especially like going to the gym and stuff, and that's why I have been maintaining that. It is something I like. But when it comes to like eating and shit, I'm like, I need to get that in check, right? So it's
I
something
like
where
to eat more.
I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, if I need to kick back or I need to not eat after a certain time or I need to do this or that, I don't have to like it, you know. I don't have to be like, this is fucking awesome. I could be like, man, this fucking sucks. But as long as you fucking do it, right? As long as you fucking so I need to remind myself of that. It reminds me of, do you know who David Goggins is?
Nope.
David Goggins. He's a dude that I think he's a former Navy SEAL. He
Okay.
was he was a big dude. He got into shape. He fucking joined the fucking Navy. I think at one point he was like 300 pounds.
Any
Now he's
relation
like
to Tony Robbins?
No, this
Oh,
is a
okay.
light-skinned black dude.
All
But
right.
David Goggins, he says there's sometimes he's like what's one of the things he says? He's like, sometimes he's like, I'll be staring at my running shoes. He's like, for 2 hours. He's like looking at those motherfuckers
Yeah,
because I
I ain't
don't
got
want to
time for
do it.
that. No.
And it's like you don't have to like it, just fucking do it, right? And so I think about that. That's one of the things I need to tell myself where I'm like, fuck, man, I need to kick back. Um,
Well, the
you know,
Duolingo helps me with that because that's the cool thing too. Is you like when you feel like that, but you're gonna multitask and you know it, right? So like
mhm,
you don't want to do one of the two things, but the other thing you kind of like to do, right? You want to learn. You like for me, I like to learn, and those stats I gave you, I mean, it didn't come because I don't enjoy it. Like right now, I'm on a good groove. I'm learning a bunch of new shit, so I really want to learn. So like I put the two together. So yeah, I don't want to do A, but with A comes B, and I really like B. And matter of
mhm.
fact, I like B so much it distracts me from A. All I got to do is get
And
started.
your favorite part is C,
These
when
nuts.
which is the no, which is the results, right?
Yes.
So
No.
you like that too. So I think that's awesome. But um let me see. Oh, you know what? I wanted
What?
to know if you have watched at all the Casey Anthony documentary.
Me and my buddy Kodai, we have.
Oh, that's actually, I was watching it with him too. I didn't know he was in fucking California.
He's fucking everywhere.
Well, I was watching it and I haven't watched enough of it to have an opinion on the actual case, right? Because
I have.
I literally started it. I started it actually maybe a couple of hours ago. I watched like maybe like 15 minutes of it or not even. And there was one thing I did take away from it, which I don't have an opinion. I'll ask you if yours right now because you said you have an opinion. But Doug, if there was ever a fucking lifetime made for TV movie,
Right.
I have somebody that could play Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
Take a couple of guesses?
Who?
I'll give you three guesses.
Spot's wife.
No.
So give me some details. Like,
Uh,
what am I guessing from? Stars, people we know, listeners.
they are related to I'll just say they're related to the Covino and Rich show. They could be listeners, they could be spouses, they could be whatever.
Casey Anthony?
Yeah. And
No,
I never even
I don't know.
saw this.
I
Oh, okay,
tap
well I'll tell
out.
you.
I have no idea.
Well, I didn't see this until I
You
was
got those
actually
glasses?
watching until I didn't see this until I was watching that documentary. I
Okay.
never have ever put these two things together, but I thought, and I do think, I don't think Casey Anthony is as attractive as this person.
Oh, my
So
Barney?
let me no, not her. Fucking Jordan. I
Casey
think
Anthony and Jordan?
I think Jordan could pull off a Casey Anthony. Especially
Yeah, I'm not
when
feeling that one. I don't agree.
where there there's in the very beginning of the first episode where they show her they're getting to that
Mm-mm.
house, that rental house,
I got your
and
back,
then
Covino.
oh, I don't care. That's cool. You could swing from his nuts all you want. I'm just
It's
being
not swinging
honest.
from his nuts. Casey on
Um,
it. I did watch all three of those documentaries. That she's manly. She got manly mannerisms. She got big old fucking knuckles and funky looking fingers. And she
I
got a
haven't got
crazy
that far
and
yet. I haven't got
she
that
got a
far.
crazy ass jawline. Looked like she in the fucking generic fucking wrestling league. And I can't bust Jordan down to those fucking levels.
Well,
I can't do
okay.
that. It's not
Well,
fair.
okay. I
It's not
do think
fair. It's
Jordan's
not fair, bro.
I do think Jordan's more attractive. I said that. However, I think the dark hair, the colored eyes, the fucking I felt like even I just feel like there's similar enough to where and think about it, when it comes to like a movie or something, they are gonna have somebody more attractive play the person, right?
Well, fuck,
So
then someone fucking failed because the chick they got to play, was that her or was that an
that was her.
actress?
No,
Oh,
that
well,
was
fuck,
her.
she's ugly as shit then.
So yeah, but I thought it would, because they showed her like taking pictures and shit in the
She did
beginning.
herself a disservice. How about that?
I didn't think it was a bad comparison. I think she could pull it off. I mean,
I think
again,
that
I'm
I
only
think if
like
you
10,
put
15 minutes into it.
If you put Jordan on there,
Okay.
you'd be catfishing Casey Anthony. You'd be a catfish. That's not no Casey Anthony, and we don't disagree very often. And so I'm not, I don't attack you. You don't attack me. We don't disagree very often. So this is not about. I watched the series. You know what? I'm curious. I won't even go off. I'm curious once you watch all 3 episodes.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Again, this isn't obviously we get along. This ain't personal. So how about this? I'll just stop. I won't even say nothing. I disagree. Watch the series, and next week we'll talk about it. See if you agree. If you still have that same opinion.
This is what I think. I think the fact that she can be like a fucking I haven't watched it, so I don't know what my opinion is yet. But just from I feel like a lot of the documentary has swayed your opinion. I'm simply looking for, because like I said, I've only seen a few minutes of it. I don't know anything. I don't know nothing yet. I don't know if it makes her look more guilty, if it makes her look more innocent. I don't fucking know. But I'm just saying, simply from the first like interview they did where she starts talking to the camera, I just saw, and she's sitting there with, I mean, I don't know. Well, I'll fucking
I don't know if she did it or not. I'm not even here to tell you she did it or she didn't do it. I'm not even. I don't know. I really. You could make an argument either way. She just.
Well,
looks
okay.
Like she just looks like a dude.
Well. Okay. We know your opinion. We know my opinion.
She just looks manly. She got manly mannerism. I don't see nothing. I mean, I'm not saying this again. I don't know Casey Anthony either. So this isn't an attack on her. I don't even know if she did it or not. I know what she was charged with. I know she beat it. Everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion. So form yours. I don't know. It's not even about that. But watching now that you verified it is her in the actual documentary, she just has like a weird jawline, and she's like, oh, her fucking fingers. And I don't know, bro. She's just manly to me. And that's why what I said, don't do Jordan a disservice, because she doesn't seem like it. Jordan's feminine.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, we will see. And again, like I told you, I'm only a few minutes into it. So far, just from what I've seen in the first couple of scenes, maybe I'll screenshot it and send it to you.
You know what I think you should do? I mean, here's Michael. So you gave a comparison, right?
Okay.
You know who I think could play her really well if there was not
Chewbacca?
No, John Cena.
Shut the fuck up. You're stupid.
John Cena, they share a similar jawline.
Or Ernest Goes to Mars, or whatever the fuck, right?
Ernest, that works.
Yeah, so all right, they're very similar. Okay. Throw a wig on fucking Ernest, and okay, there we go.
Or a baseball cap on her.
They did have a baseball cap on her in the first episode. The first fucking
she's
2
manly.
minutes.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I watched all 3 of them. I really don't know if she did it or not. I mean, it's still suspect. I mean, and for her to turn around and blame her dad, I don't know their family dynamic. I don't know if he did it or he didn't do it. It's just it's a weird situation all the way around. But yeah, absolutely. I did.
You know what I did in the very first, because I know I don't know, again, I haven't watched enough of the doc to form an opinion, but just from what the narrative is like, just from the media and shit, is like, oh yeah, she fucking did it, right? Well, right. Looking at just starting the fucking the doc, I went into it looking like, all right, you know what,
Doc Rivers,
I'll give her the benefit of the doubt or whatever. I'll watch this, let's see what's up. Right. And
that's what I did.
And so I started it, and in the beginning she's showing like pictures of her daughter and artwork that her daughters did and shit or whatever, and she's like telling stories and shit. Doug, one thing that crossed my mind was like, if she did do it, Doug, like, she's like, of course it's like a horrific thing, but I'm like, if she did do it, the way, she's like showing pictures and talking about her daughter, like, I'm like, dog, she has to be a complete fucking psychopath to have like, to be completely like disassociated from whatever she did.
Well, not only that, she's risky. I mean, I don't know what the federal charge. I don't think you can be tried again like OJ. Like, I think once it's done, it's done. But still, even doing a doc like the way she did it, It's risky. If you really did do the shit, what she's doing right now is still hella risky because I mean, even if her worst fucking thing is backlash, public backlash, you can never live a private life. You got TMZ everywhere you go, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're right. If she did do it and she came out with this fucking documentary like she didn't do it, she's a fucking psychopath. You're right.
And just the way she's talking about her daughter, and she's showing a picture of her daughter like dressed up, like plain dress up, right? She's got like a big hat and a funky dress, and she's
Big
like
hat
looking
days.
at the camera. And the Casey Anthony's like, oh, I remember this day, you know, she was looking at me like, oh, mom, another picture or whatever. And I'm like, dog, I'm like, if she did do it, this bitch is fucking so twisted because
Oh,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
like one thing again, like, yeah, she has to be fucking twisted to have actually done it. But to sit here and talk about like, oh, like I just want to know what happened or whatever the fuck she was saying. You're like, dog, this bitch has to be fucking
I
like
gotta give you spoiler alert
psycho.
a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. What's up?
Bro,
I don't
she
care because
she she said something about her brother touched her dad touched her. Like this shit gets complicated and dynamic. And so again, I don't know her personal life. You called it. Either she's a psychopath or she's been through some fucked up shit.
it could be a fucking
Combination of
combination,
all
right?
of it.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe she was a normal fucking kid or person.
Ready,
This shit
sis?
happened to her, and now I mean, she did take a turn and became a fucking nutcase, you know. And I don't know, but
I
it
don't either.
really. I think what it kind of I started. I mean, I started thinking about your favorite show of all time,
What's
right?
that?
Dexter.
You know
And
what? Speaking of, I had a conversation with the lady at the urgent care today about Dexter. She heard my
oh,
phone ring.
really?
My phone rang and it was the Dexter ringtone.
Yeah.
He goes, "What's that movie? What's that song from?" I was like, "Oh, it's Dexter." She goes, "Oh, I love that show, but not the new one."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I started thinking because, like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like one of the very first episodes of Dexter, the original, just Dexter,
Yes.
where he goes to a funeral and he has on his sunglasses and he's watching everybody and he's trying to mimic what they're doing to make himself look like he's like sad about the situation or whatever, right? So
Right.
he's like you know, like his dark passenger. And I where he's like, I noticed these people over here. So then he starts like looking down and like not wanting to make eye contact, trying to be like, oh, I'm so upset too. And I it kind of, yeah, that's a fucking TV show. But I feel like you start to get into like, if she is a fucking psychopath
Oh, she
and
is.
maybe she's like, if she did do it, right? You're like, maybe she was like, oh, I have to just play the part because
You
if
just
I
figured
didn't
something
do
out for
it,
me. You figured
huh?
something out for me right now.
What?
She is a psychopath because check it out. What's the two options, right? She was molested by her brother and her dad, and that happened. And then they messed with the kid or whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or she killed the kid. Either way, she
Yeah,
ain't all the way right, and that's not her fault. You know, I don't know
yeah,
about
yeah,
psychopath. I'll please cut that out. But I mean, there's some stuff going on.
yeah. Well, Doug, I mean, I've said it where I do think that if she has been acting this way, she is a fucking psychopath. You know what I'm saying? To where and like you said, I don't know if and I should know,
There's
but
no win in this situation, whether she did it or she didn't.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
fucked up from the events that have happened.
yeah. And if, like you said, if she really was fucking touched by these people in her family, then I mean, fuck, Doug. I mean, and by multiple people that she's claiming, then
Right.
I mean that's enough to fucking throw anybody fucking for a loop, you know?
Yes. A
And
fruity
so,
loop.
but yeah, but yeah,
Anywho,
now I feel like we got to talk about cereal. Um,
what about
let me.
BMF? Are you excited for season 2?
The fuck's BMF?
So the listeners out there, I've been telling Daniel about the best show on TV called BMF, Black Mafia Family, with Big
Oh,
Meech
well,
for
yeah.
a
Then
long
I'm
time.
not.
And season 2 is coming out January 6th. They've already had season 1 and they had the documentary where they interviewed Big Meech, his real life mom, his real life family. This shit is cracking. You're not watching that, D, or what?
Mm-mm. Nah, I haven't fucking watched it, but how many episodes is the first season?
It's only like 10.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll
And
think about it.
and White Lotus, I'm telling you,
I have
White
heard a lot
Lotus.
about I you know,
That
I
shit's
have
dope.
I've heard a lot about White Lotus because my buddy Chris, he listens to a band called Floating Lotus
Okay.
or something along
Floating
those lines.
penis,
So when I heard what is it, White Lotus or some shit?
floating penis. Yeah,
No, the TV yeah, okay.
White Lotus.
When I heard that, I was like, oh shit, I thought about that band, and I was like, so I have heard it a handful of times, but what I don't even know what the premise is. Is it a fucking scary show? Is it a comedy? What the fuck is it about?
It's a weird show. So I'm trying to go back to season one because I started on season two, and you know what, I was hanging out with our buddy Kodai again, and it
Mhm.
was trending. It was like the number 3 show, and I'd heard about it. So I was like, fuck it, you know what? I'm chiefed. I'm gonna click on it, see what the shit's about, and it's dope. And so season two basically follows some couples, X amount of people, and they're on this island in like Italy, and there's
Mhm.
hookers involved, and there's Molly involved, and you know, and they're basically on this island, and everything's kind of going weird. Like there's these two couples that hang out with each other, and the dudes went to like college together, and one was a
They're
nerd, one was a
polynomial, like Spot.
they're polyspotimal, but the one dude that got rich is the nerd. The one guy who's doing okay, but he's not rich, was the jock. He was trying to steal his lady. It's a weird. It's basically, I can't give you word for word how they describe it, but it's
Yeah.
almost like a it follows around sets of people and kind of weird shit happens. If that
How
means
is it?
anything.
Is it how's like the like cinematography? Does it look like a movie? Is it looking like a is it
No, it looks
shot
like
like a documentary?
it's an
Does it look
HBO
like
show, so it looks like an
okay,
HBO show, like a
okay,
Sopranos,
that explains
Dexter.
it. Yeah.
Well, Dexter's Showtime, but Sopranos, fucking True
The
Blood.
what
It's an
was The
yeah, it's
Wire on HBO?
I think so. So
Oz, all that shit.
yeah, it's an HBO show. And so, you know, there's hookers involved, and there's a storyline, like there's a grandfather, a dad, and there's a son, and the hookers sleep with the grandfather and the dad, but then one of them falls in love with the son. Like it's like weird
Sounds like a
shit
good
happens.
lady.
Yeah, I fuck, take her home to grandma. But it's a great show. It's hard for me to explain because it's almost like a Pulp Fiction type show where there's like lots of little stories going on within the story, but they all connect.
Yeah.
And it's great. Check it out. I'm telling you,
Dog,
White Lotus.
that just I mean, I now I want to watch not only that, but I want to watch Pulp Fiction again. I haven't seen that shit in forever, dog. And it's just those kind of movies where something's happening and then like on Pulp Fiction, it fucking the
It all
scene
makes sense
starts and the scene starts and you realize halfway through the scene that it's reliving another scene, but you're
from the
watching it
end.
from a different angle,
Right.
I said ankle, from a different angle and shit, and I'm like,
Okay.
fuck, like oh shit, because last time you were looking at the perspective of fucking Sam Jackson and fucking John Travolta. Now
Right.
you're looking at the perspective of the person around the corner or whatever, and you see them doing the shit they already did. And dog, that kind of shit I fucking love because I think that's something that I think of like right now, right? Like I'm fucking in this room. I'm like my daughter's asleep. My girl got here recently, so she's fucking like jumped in the shower or whatever. And I'm like, it just to me, all of that, I'm thinking of everything that's going on this second.
Right.
And it's all from a different perspective. So that shit's dope. So
Well, and then
that
Stifler's mom's in it. So I'm watching like season one right now because I've already seen season two. And I don't know
yeah,
what she does too much in season one, but in season two, like she leaves her husband. They're at this Italian vacation. She leaves her husband. She meets some other dude, some younger cat. She's taking Molly. Like, I don't know. They're making out and getting sexual, and like it's a trip, right? And then it follows like these hookers. Like I said, they sleep with the dad, the grandfather, but one falls in love with the son, and he was stood up by this other chick. Like, it's crazy because all these stories like interconnect, but it's hella interesting. White Lotus, I'm
yeah.
telling you, I said it. If you don't check it out, it's your fault.
All
BMF.
right.
Check out BMF and Big Meech and Southwest T. That's just dope. Season two
White
coming out.
Lotus. White Lotus, I got to check out. Spot had some fucking AI photos this
And
week.
don't mistake it for White POTUS. That's White
Oh,
Lotus, not
all
Joey
right.
B. Not Joey B.
Let me see. Rich,
Although
Doug,
shout out to
this,
Joey B for getting Britney Griner home. You see that?
yeah. So,
Oh, you
that
don't
was a,
care?
well, it's just, honestly, I don't. I mean, but like
That's
Covino and
what I'm
Rich were saying,
asking.
Covino and Rich were saying that they were like, well, we're paid to have an opinion on it,
Yes.
right? Because they were both saying that they really don't give a shit, but they're paid to have an opinion. And I'm like, we're not paid to have an opinion, but I guess that's the whole point of the show, right? Well,
Shout out Jeff's Jerky.
I saw a lot of people comparing it to there was memes that were being shared. There was things saying
Let's
that
debate them here. What were
we
they?
have one showed Joe Biden. Well, it was like it had, you know how they'll have shit where it's like
Is that the one where
it's
he
a
sniffed her when she got off the plane?
no, they'll
Oh,
have shit where, you know, it's like a man holding a puppy,
I
and then
seen
like
that. Yeah, I
over
saw
it
it.
they'll put a
I saw it,
text.
bro.
It'll say Joe Rogan or Joe Biden. Then it'll say the puppy, fucking Britney Griner, and then in the background there's like a kitty cat, and it says like Marines and shit.
Yes.
So there was that kind of shit
I
that was
saw
going
that.
on.
That's a Covino Rich listener who posted that one.
Oh, really?
I
Because
saw the same
I saw.
shit.
Oh, I think
Yes.
Bree Miller posted that, or
Okay.
now Bree Hare, West and
Okay.
Idaho's new wife.
Yep.
Well,
All right.
there, and then
You said it. I didn't.
I saw some personal friends post similar things.
Okay.
Um and that I think that was kind of the, oh, the one that I did see that was fucking funny was they had El Chapo looking up into like the camera up there like in his cell,
Mhm.
and it said El Chapo waiting for somebody to commit a crime in fucking Mexico so he could get traded too. And I was like, oh, that shit was funny. So there was some funny ones. But no, on the whole thing, I'm like, dog, I'm like, fucking whatever. I mean, I guess that's cool that she, I mean, I think it's cool that she's free because it was a fucked up charge, you know?
It was.
The thing that I think is throwing people off is the trade that they made, because they let some dude who was like a fucking mass killer or some shit
Right.
free for her. Um, but I'm like, people are like, oh well, you know, she is getting special treatment because she's a celebrity or because she has money or because of this or that. But I'm like, regardless of if
Regardless.
she is or not, you know, getting this special treatment, you
Well,
gotta
she
admit
no
she was
no no
she
no
was
no. She is, and I'm not
okay. So
mad at
she,
her. Regardless is correct. You're right.
but
But let's
she,
not
but
bullshit. Joe Blow ain't getting out of there for that.
yeah, and see, so that I'm like, yeah, she is, like you mentioned, getting the special treatment. But I'm like, it was a fucking bullshit ass charge, right? I don't even think there was THC in her fucking pen. I think it was just CBD.
No, it
And
was
so they're
THC.
okay, it was
And I'm
ABC,
going to tell you
whatever.
from someone that's been in
But
management for a long time, you don't get to break the rules and then challenge them, right? It's your job to know what they are and abide by them. If you don't, you deal with the consequences, right?
so you wanted her to stay
You
in
could
there.
love cocaine. You could love cocaine, bro. Leave your house with an A ball, get pulled over, and see what the cops say.
Yeah, but what but
There's no
hmm.
but. It is what it is. You could think it's safe as fuck to drive 100 miles an hour down the fucking freeway, but the cops gonna disagree. And your opinion doesn't make the rules, let alone challenge them. And
So
that's the
you would
fucked up
rather,
part.
her have stayed in there.
No, absolutely not.
But you're just saying she broke the rules.
She did. No, absolutely not. I'm glad they brought her home. I'm glad she's free. I totally agree with you. It was a bullshit charge. But let me explain something. The whole world doesn't have the same laws we do. And we don't
Mhm.
have the same laws as the whole world. There's certain parts of the fucking world you can sleep with girls at 14.
But aren't
Do
you
that.
contradicting what you just said?
What do you mean?
You're saying that, well, you know, she got home and shit, that's cool or whatever. But you
I
just
don't
said
make the
before that,
laws in Russia. Doesn't mean I have to fucking agree with them. Yeah, they're bullshit. They're horrible. They're fucked up. I get it. It's stupid. It's dumb. She should have never been jailed. But guess what? That's their laws. So
yeah,
your
so
dumbass needs to be aware of those before you try to smuggle stupid shit in when you know you can catch fucking 10 years for fucking some weed. I'm not going to Russia with weed, and I go to everywhere with weed. You think I'm going over
Yeah.
there after watching this bullshit? Fuck no, bro. And if
Fuck
I
no,
did,
no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
taking. And you think that if anywhere I travel, I'm not Googling what their shit is?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Because at the end of the day, yeah, no, I don't agree with the law. The law was fucked up. It's bullshit. It's horrible. I feel bad for her. I'm glad she's released. But I got two things to say. It's still your motherfucking responsibility to know what the consequences are of the crime you're committing. And you can't commit a crime and play stupid and play victim. That's your fault. Everyone got a phone with Google on it. Who's the
Well, you
last
know
person you seen with a flip
that
phone?
that is something that's actually written into, I don't know if it's like the Constitution or what, but where they say ignorance is no exception for the
It's
law or some
not.
shit.
It's
And
not.
it's true because you could fucking go and murder somebody or rob somebody, and then if all you had to say was, oh well, I didn't fucking know that was a law, then they let you off or what? So you are right, where ignorance isn't a fucking excuse.
And you got TikTok where all these dumbasses like, I bought weed in Colorado and now I'm in Kansas and I bought it legal and they're getting busted for crossing state lines. Like
People are doing
here,
that shit. They're fucking stupid.
bro. I seen one stupid ass TikTok actually yesterday. The dude got pulled over and he's in California and he said he bought the shit legally in fucking Colorado, which is
Mm,
cool, but you can't cross state lines.
yeah.
It's cool if you're in Colorado. It's cool if you bought it in California and you're in California, but that cross line shit don't work. But that gets to my next point.
Mm,
I'm absolutely good with her coming home. Welcome home, Britney. Glad she's here, right? I really am. But I'm going to say this: the big holdup, and I'm a cannabis proponent, right? I speak up
mm,
for cannabis rights. Currently, I'm in the industry. You know, I've puffed for 31 years. Don't want to
cool.
date myself, but it is what it is. And
You've been
so
puffing since you were 4 years old.
I have. You know what? I didn't even make it out the Huggy yet, and I had a joint in my mouth.
uh,
But and I was killing jars of fucking baby food. But with that being said, you know, I'm a proponent. I mean, I'm for the plant. I think it's great. I think she fucked up and she should have knew what she was getting herself into and ask herself if it's worth it to smuggle in a fucking pen where you can get 10 years for it. But
mm,
that's a decision she made and she lived with it and she paid her price. She's home. Welcome home. But with that being said, the big thing about these state laws is the government's kind of been like, it's not federally approved, right? They got their own set of rules. The states get voted in, whatever. They try to manage and make rules within the rules to make it work for their system where they can get paid tax money and whatnot and uphold what the voters voted in. But this isn't a state. Gavin Newsom didn't go over there to
yeah,
get her out. He didn't go to get her out. Who's your
yeah.
state governor?
Fucking Bill Johnson.
Did Bill Johnson go over there and get her out? Was it on his Twitter page?
Nah.
I don't think so. So what I'm getting at is this was a federal situation,
Yeah.
and there's still some states out there that are not medically or recreationally legal. And I think that if you've ever been convicted of whatever the fuck she just got let out for in another country, that
Mm-hmm.
we let, like you said, to your point, an arms dealer out with, we traded an arms dealer to get her home for a fucking pod. I think that since the federal government negotiated that trade, anybody in this country that's ever been charged with some bullshit like that on a federal level should be let out too. I
Yeah.
mean, the federal government went to another fucking country and got one of our citizens. How fucked up is it to fucking Zach in fucking wherever Montana, who's
Yeah.
got 3 years for the same shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
If we're gonna bring her home, which I'm glad we did, I think every citizen that's incarcerated in our own country with a similar charge in a state where recreational or any state, but I mean, even if it's an old charge, even if you're third strike, how many people got their third strike in California because they have more than an ounce?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if we're going to go to other countries and get superstars out and bring them home, which we should, we've got to take care of our people here too.
Mm-hmm. Great point. Um, I don't have anything to add to that. I wanted to see, was there anything else that you
Please
had?
edit some of that though. I don't want to go to. I don't want to get locked up. Please, please just.
It's gonna be like this. Britney Griner, glad she's home. That's gonna be the whole
Hey,
edit.
there will be no episode 159 if they come get me, bro. I'm just saying.
That's fucking funny. Yeah.
But that's real shit.
You know what, dog? Rich was talking this week about I think actually on Friday he has to, or no, Friday, yeah, I think Friday he has to interview or have lunch with Lisa Loeb because he's gonna do an interview with her or something, so they're gonna sit down, have lunch or whatever. And he was talking about how like surreal it is to there's somebody that we grew up listening to and she was a pop star or whatever, and to be now Rich is like it is still kind of surreal to be like I'm gonna have coffee with her and shit or whatever. And
Right.
I feel like the world has become a much smaller place since
It
like
has.
social media and shit,
Yes,
right?
it has.
Before it was like, Doug, you wouldn't see fucking anybody outside of like if you were a fan of Jordan, right? You saw him on a commercial and you saw him play the game. That's all you saw.
Didn't
Now
see him in the
you're
Casey Anthony fucking documentary.
now you're seeing everything from fucking what they're having for lunch to fucking whatever. So it has kind of lost some of that, but it is still kind of surreal. And it is funny because I think on a very, very uh mild level, I'm not even sure how to fucking say it. But I feel like that with Covino and Rich, even to where I think that is fucking one thing that has kept me, I think, a listener all these years, is how down to earth they are. And Doug, where I'm fucking like, um, I'll get like, what did Covino send me the other day? He had wanted me to do something for a
Shout
video or
out
something.
Covino.
And Doug, he sent me like a little voice message, and he's like, "Hey, bro," he's like, "You think you could do this, this, and this? I'm gonna send you a picture, and I'm gonna send you this, and then make it do this." And then he's like, "Bing, bang, boom," and then cut right back to me, and this and this, and then he's like, "All right," and he's like, "How long do you think that'll take?" And I was like, "Oh, and just going back and
Shout
forth.
out
I'm
Covino.
like, Doug, it's crazy to me because I'm like, before I ever even interacted with the show, there was a few years that I listened just
Right.
as a listener, right? And to where I'm listening and I was just like, I remember the first time I met them in 2015, it was like, fuck, like that's crazy. Those are the fucking dudes from the fucking radio, right? Those are, to me, they're fucking like they're fucking superstars, right? They've talked to everybody you could fucking imagine, right?
Yes, they
From Bruno
have.
Mars to fucking Henry Winkler to it's crazy. And to go from that, like meeting them for the first time to, hey bro, and then can you do me a favor? And then fucking
But that's because
that's weird,
Covino's humble though. That's what keeps me drawn to the show, because that's the real aspect of it. Like when you hear him get passionate about something, it's real.
And it's cool for me because I'm like, man, I'm like that kind of shit is like, no, it's not like a Lisa Loeb or a fucking whoever or a fucking Bruno Mars or some shit. But to us that enjoy the show, it is, they're fucking, you're like, these dudes are a part of our fucking life every fucking day for the last like 20 years for some of us,
For
and
sure.
it's crazy for it to go from this is a person I listen to on the radio to they're gonna hit me
You
up so I
know,
can do them a favor,
you
or
know,
they,
you know, you know what they're good at, dude. You know what they do, and they live it too. So they don't just do it, like they live it. What they
Mhm.
do is, you know how like you've seen those TikToks recently where people like support your friends, right? Don't ask for free shit, right? Like
Mhm.
if your buddy's a fucking tile guy and you need tile, pay his ass, right? Like support him.
Yeah.
Don't ask him to do free shit. Like support his business. You're his buddy. And I think with them, it's easy to do so because they're genuine.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like you don't want to let them down. I don't want to ever cancel my Patreon because they're not asking for much, and
Yeah.
you're supporting people that kind of support you back.
Yeah.
If you got something going on, bro, they shout us out all the time on that show. Like they
Yeah.
support their listeners. If you've got an agenda or you've got a product or you have something, Covino and Rich have people's backs.
Think about how many times they've shouted out Mario Rangel and his,
Right.
he's making belts and shit, and they're shouting out his website. And I'm like, dog, this is fucking, and he's sold shit to listeners because of their shout outs. I'm like, that's it's so fucking dope. You support those that support you, and oh, speaking of
Absolutely.
which, Doug, I forgot to even tell you,
What?
there's a listener from Covino and Rich that I didn't even know was a listener of us. And it's
Okay.
funny because you do hear that only like 5% of listeners or whatever interact with shows or whatever. So there's some stat like that, right?
We
And
interact.
somebody hit me up last week. Doug, I don't think I've ever interacted with this person.
Mhm.
And I just randomly get a message on Facebook.
They ask you
And
for a
it
dick
is
pic.
no, Doug, I randomly get a message
They ask you for
and
phase 3.
they're talking about something that we talked about on last episode, right?
Okay.
And I was like,
I already
oh
like this
shit.
person.
I was like, oh fuck. It was Charles in West Virginia.
Really?
So Charles in West Virginia hit me up and he was like, yeah, he was like this and this and this. And I was like,
I got a question
oh
for Charles.
fuck. What's up?
Back in the day, me and Mito used to watch, we'd get all fucking danked out, and we would watch the Whites from West Virginia. It was a show on like Netflix or something,
Mhm.
and it was wild. So if
Called
Charles
The
is listening,
Whites.
it's called the Whites from West Virginia. And they were kind of, I don't know, you'd have to watch it to make your own conclusion of what was going on there.
It's funny because my in-laws are whites from Virginia. So crazy.
No West.
No, they're from Virginia.
Well, if Charles is
Jersey
listening,
and
please get at me, Charles. Instagram, Snapchats, whatever,
mm,
TikTok. I'm curious, or Daniel, get a D. But I'm curious, was that real? And do you know anyone that knows them?
The Whites. Oh, so it wasn't just like a sitcom or something. It was like
No, it was
a
like a
documentary.
documentary. Yeah, it was
Oh, okay.
wild, guy. It was wild.
It was
Wild.
okay. All right, the Whites from West Virginia. But yeah,
Well,
so
shout
shout
out
out to
Charles.
Charles and everybody else that listens and the people that listen and never chime in. We're fucking stoked that you
The
do
Rob
check us out.
Tip-ins.
Yeah, the people that
Anyone send us more Spotify or what? We got data, we got numbers. I love numbers.
you know what, I don't know. I told
Send
you
them in.
I'm trying to listen to Covino and Rich and learn a new position at the same time. So I'm trying to multitask. I haven't checked like a
I'm
lot
trying to
a
learn
lot of our
Spanish on
shit.
the exercise bike.
Yeah, Doug, I have been lagging
Puerta.
it. So did you say cuenta?
Puerta.
Oh, puerta. Okay.
See ya.
Yeah. Cierra la puerta.
Caminar.
Caminar. Let's see.
Vamos.
Vamos a caminar.
Sí.
¿Qué quieres a comer? Tengo hambre.
Tu abuelos.
uh, um,
Simpático.
you know what? One time, I think I mentioned this on the show, but
Band
I
camp.
had when Kennedy, when I grounded my daughter one time, I
How
told
long?
her,
How long she grounded for? What she do?
dog, she's grounded all the fucking time. She's always fucking being crazy and shit.
What she do?
But oh, the last time, the last time, dog, the last time she got grounded was because she fucking she was painting something, right? And
She a
like on
tagger?
her floor in her room, she was like painting something, Doug. And instead of like getting like a little cup of water or some shit to like, rinse out the brush, when
Right.
she was gonna do some paint like a different color or some shit, Doug, she would just rub the brush on her carpet. And she was like, so then she dip it in another paint, Doug. So it was actually one time after we recorded, I was like, because I was like, damn, she's been quiet this whole time. She's been cool, I
She
was
was
like,
painting
cool.
the carpet?
Doug, no, she was painting on like a piece of paper or
No,
something.
she said she
Eh,
painted the carpet.
Well, then when she would switch colors,
Uh-huh. She
she'd be like,
painted
all
the
right,
carpet.
I'm done with black. Let me fucking get all the black paint off
Oh, that's
on the
great.
carpet. And then she fucking would dip it into
Is that
another
is that when
color.
she made the El Cucuy page?
Oh no. For those of you that don't know, I have it right here. Here, she fucking drew Rich Davis for El Cucuy.
Oh, that was great.
So yeah, but
Oh,
yeah, I was like,
thank
I
you,
remember I
Kennedy.
was like, what the hell? And and I remember asking her, like, did you think that was a good idea? She was like, no, but I didn't. And
What?
she was like, yeah, she was like, no, but I just didn't want to get a cup of water to dip it in. And I was like, and yeah, no, there's been a few things, but one time when she was grounded, I was like, all right, I didn't want to be completely fucked up and be like, oh, you can't watch shit or you can't whatever. So what I did was I told her she could watch Boy Meets World as long as it was in Spanish, right? So I was like, maybe she could learn a little bit while she's fucking grounded,
You
right?
didn't make her read the
So
dictionary?
nah, nah, not that harsh. Come on.
Okay.
Well, it was funny because I had like the different kind of Spanish, like with like the Latin America Spanish and not like the Mexico Spanish.
Wow.
So I was
And
like,
it's a
I walked.
difference for people out there that don't know. It's a
Well,
huge
it was
difference.
funny because I heard like
Hey, correct me if I'm
I was
wrong.
watching it.
The
What?
Latin, not even Latin America. If you know like Spain Spanish, like proper Spanish, kind of like
Yeah.
the palace speaks English, right? Like over there type shit. You can't bring that shit to Cali. We'll laugh your ass back over there.
Well,
But
that was I don't know. Maybe it was that one that I did, but it was something that I had put on, and I remember like walking in and being like, I don't. What the fuck are they saying? Because they were saying like vosotros and shit, right? Where I'm like, our Spanish, we say nosotros.
yes,
Vosotros is a variation of that.
right.
And so I was like, fuck. So it
Nosotros
wasn't
is we, right?
it wasn't until I think my sister told me, because when we were at her house, I had Kennedy watching it. And so my sister was like, you have the wrong Spanish on there. So that was when I actually changed it to like the fucking Mexico Spanish. And then I was like, oh, now I understand this shit, you
Well,
know?
what
But
I was gonna say is if you know the Spain Spanish, you can also probably more clearly understand Italian because they're really similar, and
yeah, yeah.
and Portuguese. And if you speak Spanish from over here on the West Coast, I mean, it'll help and you can get along and figure it out. But I think that if you speak like Spanish from Spain, because my grandmother, she was Spanish
Yeah.
and her stuff was proper. She's not like, but at the same time, ain't didn't used to be in the dictionary, and sus and all these other words that we just make up, and those meals that ain't in the
Mhm.
dictionary. And there's a lot of stuff we say out here that's slang that they're not going to say over there.
Fucking keki. Dog, keki isn't a word.
Keiki,
Yeah.
what
I hear
about
keki.
hots?
What the fuck is that?
Tell you later.
Or like hot is hots outside?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
hots is out there.
I like hot sauce.
Oh,
Um,
hots.
but yeah, but anyway, man. You know what? I don't well, actually I do have like a
Well,
shit
you
ton
know,
of
so
things,
run through it.
but let me see real quick. Hooking up, I'll do a rapid fire. All right.
Rapid fire, because I got one too.
Um, all right, real quick. Hooking up with coworkers, you think it should be a fireable offense?
I don't think it should be a fireable offense. I mean, people are attracted to each other, and we can't help who we're attracted to or who's
That
willing to give
spot.
us what we're looking for. But I think that you should use judgment. And I think if you're in a management position, you can't really be sleeping with people that aren't in management positions. And if you are, you better hope you don't get told on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it
Yeah.
should be
Okay.
fireable,
Okay. Let me see real quick.
but you might have to get
So,
relocated. And if they send you to a sister town 30 minutes away because you poked, Rebecca, that's your fault.
all right, empanadas. Did you hear that conversation?
No,
Okay, so
but
they were
but I
talking about
love empanadas.
empanadas. Rich and Spot were saying that they're not really Mexican. Covino was saying that they're super part of the Mexican culture.
Mhm.
Covino or Spot and Rich were saying they're not. Um,
What
I
qualifies him to say that first? Aren't they both white from New
yeah,
Jersey?
and I'm telling you, Doug, I feel like empanadas were Mexican as fuck for me. It was
Bro,
something
it's called
that
an empanada.
I know. And they I think was it Spot that looked up the origin and shit and was like, "Oh, they were originally in fucking Antarctica or some bullshit." Like fucking yeah, but that's not they're fucking still embedded in the culture. Dog, I remember
So deep fried quesadilla, damn near.
there was always fucking somebody that you knew of or like my grandma knew of or fucking whatever, somebody that was selling them. I don't remember ever going to like a fucking fucking Albertsons or some shit to get empanadas, right? But there was
No.
always somebody selling them that were fucking Mexican as fuck that didn't even know English, right? And they had different kinds of empanadas if you wanted this one, this one, this one.
Jalapeno and cheese.
You know,
They had fruit ones.
yeah, they had, yeah, exactly. They had
And
the
all
fruit
the
ones.
all the pawn shops have them. They have like the pumpkin and the apple.
Yeah, the pumpkin. Yeah, for sure. I remember all of those growing up, and I wasn't always a huge fan of them. I would have them from time to time, but I thought like they were Mexican as fuck. And for them to say, "Oh no, they're more," and Chapo is so
He wants to
chill.
say
Dog.
hi. Look, Chapo, look.
He's not looking at me.
Sorry,
But
Chapo, he wanted to join the scene for a minute.
But yeah, but no, I thought that she was Mexican as fuck. Okay. I don't I didn't hear this conversation, but Shakira's dating a 24-year-old apparently. I didn't know about that. If you're ever taking a red eye, are you sleeping on it? Are you staying awake for it? What are you doing?
I hit mute. You're gonna have to cut out about 10 fucking seconds of that. But what's up, man?
Oh, okay. On a red eye, are you fucking sleeping? Are you fucking are you staying awake for it? What's going on?
Before that, let me answer a question before we even get to that.
Okay.
Can you get an empanada at Red Lobster or Olive Garden?
No.
No?
No.
What about Famous Dave's?
I don't think so.
Cracker Barrel?
Definitely not. No.
Okay.
Okay.
We figured it out. Red
Sunny.
Eye.
Oh yeah.
Red Eye. I'm getting hammered and going to sleep.
Okay. What about fucking I probably would too. I don't think I've been up.
Any flight I take, and you can ask August Garcia.
Yeah.
Or Tip Dog. I'm drinking a bare minimum of 3 to 4 tallies at the airport bar within 45 minutes of takeoff.
Yeah.
And as soon as I get on that motherfucker, I got pillows and shit. And I got a backpack with pillows, and I'm like this. And I'm trying to go to sleep.
Yeah. I feel you. To me, yeah, some flights, if it's a couple hours, 2-3 hours, whatever, you're not doing that. But if it's
I am. I don't like to fly. Yeah, I don't like to fly. No, hell no.
I've learned to like it over the last couple of years.
I
used to fucking hate it.
What books you read?
It was called Learning to Love to Fly.
Where can I get a copy?
Yeah, I'll send you a copy.
You get it on Amazon Kindle or what?
Yeah, of course. Sunny D. Did you ever drink that shit back in the day? Sunny Delight.
Yeah, I still drink it.
Doug, it was funny because they were talking about
gin.
Oh, Doug, you know what? I didn't even tell you. One of the times I got the fucking as like fucking a younger person. One of the times, have you ever you probably have because you've been in the business and shit, but have you ever heard of Tampico juice?
Bro, if you get the purple one, it tastes like Missile Pop.
I don't know what Missile Pop is, but
the popsicles from the fucking ice cream truck, Missile Pops. Get the purple Tampico.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. They
get the purple cap.
We used to call them bomb pops.
No, Missile Pops, the ones that are orange and spirally and they're long, the Missile Pops.
Oh yeah, we used to call those bullets.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know there was bullets and bomb pops. The bomb pops were the red, white, and blue ones.
Well, yeah, the bomb, and they had the banana chocos too. That were like banana chocolate. Right,
but
the bomb pop.
Dog, I remember one of the most messed up times I ever got as a younger person was we bought a gallon of fucking Tampico, the orange one.
Yes.
Dumped like a fucking quarter of it out or however much I don't remember, half of it or whatever. And then we threw like an entire bottle of vodka in there. And we fucking had like ghetto ass screwdrivers. Yes. But we're just all drinking from the gallon.
But you can't taste the vodka. If you get good or decent vodka, you can't taste it in that Tampico.
No, we could not taste it at all. And it wasn't even that good of vodka. It was just like fucking like Sky or Smirnoff or something. It wasn't like even like the craziest shit, you know? And I still remember we were at my homie Johnny's Thea's house when Johnny's cousin was living there. And we fucking so we showed up to the pad, Doug, and we were like, oh my god, that was an experience. But yeah, but Sunny D, I felt was the fucking
White version of Tampico.
yeah. Tampico was the ghetto ass Mexican
It
version,
was.
right?
Well, because Sunny D, you got like a half gallon for the same price you got a gallon at Tampico.
Yeah.
Tampico don't even sell half gallons and shit. You got to buy the whole jug.
They talked about their
I'm gonna fuck
fake
your ass up, Chapo. You better
they
get your
talk
shit.
they talked about their fake publicist, Nick Hastings. It's funny because they were talking about this fake publicist that they made up, and they would
Right.
have Spot reach out to people and be like, oh, this is Nick Hastings and my clients Covino and Rich want to come on your show or whatever. And it was funny because they started talking about it and they were like, have we ever mentioned this on the air? And it's so funny because if you go back to I think January 2019, I had Soupy, the world famous Covino and Rich listener,
I am
Soupy.
Soupy.
So he was on the show, and the very first thing he mentioned was, oh, I thought we were going to be talking to Nick Hastings, or he made a comment.
Right, I remember that.
And so it's funny because Covino and Rich, I'm like, it reminds me of like a sitcom that you watched growing up or something. They may not remember the filming the episode, but we remember it. And so they don't even remember talking about Nick Hastings, but we even had people on our show talking about Nick Hastings, you know?
I got a declaration.
What's up?
And I feel this about my life too. I really do. I got a lot of shit. I think I got a pretty good story to tell. But you could probably make either a series or movies out of Covino Rich. From the Syracuse and the fucking K-Rock days.
Yeah.
Right? Montclair State. Wasn't he at Montclair? Where was he at?
Yeah.
Montclair. You know, if you started at Syracuse and Montclair, maybe some high school baseball fucking
University of Maryland, see Spot.
You could see Covino fucking the hog off champ, right? Start at the hog when he wins his hog off, right? You can start right there for Covino. Yeah. You can start with Richie Squareback Davis with his goggles, Cristobal goggles.
Spot changing in PE, questioning himself.
Yeah, you can start there too. But that'll be a good series of movies. You could do it.
I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna write the screenplay.
I want to proofread it.
I'm gonna send this to a couple of people, and we'll actually we'll get this shit made.
Well, you got ESPN, you got Maxim, you got Stars 2, you got
each one. You could each one could be a season.
Jay, what's his
ESPN
name?
Could be a season.
What was Jay's? Yeah, no. What was Jay's name again?
Jay,
the talk show guy that died.
Oh, Jay Thomas.
Jay Thomas. Stars 1, Stars 2, fucking
right.
All kind of different shit.
The blow up doll that they had, Howard
the
Stern's blow up doll,
blue jazz mug.
You know, there you could spend an entire season on any of these subjects.
Ozzy's Octane.
Yep. Ozzy's Octane. Ozzy's Boneyard.
Ozzy's Boneyard. Octane.
Yeah, Turbo. Rich's time with Pop Rocks. Covino with Lithium. I mean, there when Covino was Empire Boy. Covino was Empire Boy with Julissa Bermudez, and remember he was on a reality show.
I remember that.
So there was plenty of and
he left his chonies in El Segundo.
He did. Yeah, you know what? I never me and my sister, when we were in LA a few weeks ago, we were stuck in this.
Thanks for the call, bro, in the meetup.
Oh, for sure. We were I told you about that, dog. We drove up there, we saw a concert, and we drove back, remember?
Yeah. How far did you drive?
We spent 5 hours.
About 2 hours for me.
We spent well, Doug, if you would have, hey, next time I'm buying your ass an O-Town ticket. I'm making you go.
Thanks for the ticket. Yeah,
I'm buying you one next time. Your ass is going. All right. I'm not even lying, because we go to O-Town concerts in LA pretty often.
All right.
So all right, so we'll go.
All right.
I'm gonna call you up. Your ass is gonna be there, and you'll enjoy the show. You might even become a fan. So
a fanboy.
But fuck, Doug, what was I even telling you? What were we talking about before that? Oh, well, we're in traffic and shit in Tony's in El Segundo, right? So we were in LA. We're fucking at a fucking standstill where we're just sitting there chilling. And I asked my sister, I'm like, hey, what do you do if you have to take a shit right now? Because Doug,
Hey, you
because
asked your
it said,
sister that?
yeah, because
See,
Doug,
and
because
those are things I get confused because I've never had siblings. So like that's okay. You say, hey, what do you got to do? You got to take a shit.
oh, 100%.
It's all good.
100%. No.
Okay. All
And
right.
no, she was like, no, I think she was the one that brought it up where she said, yeah, that's probably why Covino, she was like, shit is chonies and El Segundo. She was like, he probably was sitting in traffic like this. Because Doug, we were sitting,
Yeah.
I couldn't see for fucking
But you're not
miles.
but you're not prepared for it like Californians, I don't think. I think you are in a sense, like you might talk yourself into saying there's gonna be some traffic, LA traffic, right? Like
Yeah.
we know. Motherfucker, you gotta be at the airport at 10. Yeah, it depends where you're coming from, but you better give yourself 4 or 5 hours.
Doug, we were like 8 miles away and it said like from the actual
Took
venue.
you an hour and a half.
It said, yeah, it said like 52 minutes. And I was like, eight
About right.
miles away. My fat ass could fucking walk there in fucking 52 minutes, you know?
Not in that
And,
traffic.
and no, like we were sitting there.
Give me one
All we
second. Hey,
saw.
give me 1 second, bro. I
Go
gotta
ahead.
chop out real quick.
All right, go.
Go pee pee. Go.
I don't want to edit this shit right here, so I'm just gonna fucking keep talking. So, if you guys haven't subscribed to Covino and Rich on Patreon, patreon.com/Covino and Rich. Find them on social media at Covino and Rich, Covino and Rich, the word and A-N-D, R-I-C-H, Covino and R-I-C-H, wherever you fucking have social media. Check out the different tiers, tier 1, tier 2, I think tier 2 plus, tier 1 plus, all that shit. An option for everybody. So if you want to check out Covino and Rich, maybe you can jump on Amazon, find some merch. We have our after show but later merch on Amazon, and go to covinoandrich.com/shop, I believe, and you can buy some Covino and Rich merch. So now we are back with El Cucuy. I didn't want to have to edit that portion, so I just talked.
All right, cool.
So yeah, but it was, yeah, but no, but definitely the sibling talk, it really was like we were sitting there thinking like, damn, what do you really, if you got to shit, you just fucking shit your pants? And then that's when my sister's like, that's probably why Covino fucking shit his chonies and El Segundo.
He
They were
left
sitting
him
there.
too.
He blamed it on Melody when she was a baby. Do you remember that?
And the grape for swoot. I remember that.
But yeah, man. You know what? I don't think, let me see.
That and Police Now Be Job are my two favorite Tickle Stack songs. What are your two?
Yeah. Let me see. Black Hole Fun or Butthole Fun. Did I tell you that they played that shit at the concert, at the O-Town concert?
You did.
How they were
couldn't get it out of your head.
Yeah, me and my sister were fucking rocking out to Butthole.
I wish I could have shared that moment with you.
Yeah, you will next time. I swear I'm buying your ass a ticket next time, and your ass is gonna go.
All right.
Let me see.
Butthole Fun.
One last thing. There's one last thing I want to end on. And Rich actually, I mentioned this in the fucking in-show chat, and Rich gave me credit. He was like, "Oh, Daniel Javier Fitz brought this up," and he was like, "I think it was a good point." Blah 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 blah. So shout out to Rich. But when you were in grade school, were janitors like the fucking homies and shit for you guys?
Homies?
Yeah, like people everybody fucking, all the students loved our fucking janitors, dog. We had,
I mean, we didn't get high with them.
No, not like that. But I'm saying, like, did everybody love the fucking janitors? Like, I remember we had Mr. Blanco.
We were dicks to them, but they were cool. If you were cool, you were good. You're good people. You're good people.
It was cool. Everybody fucking loved. We had Mr. Blanco, we had Mr. Loya, and Mr. Loya lived literally.
And I got a story.
Half a block from the fucking school, and he would sell like fucking lollipops, or not lollipops, like fucking ice creams and shit, like out of his pad. So everybody, yeah, everybody would know. You go to fucking Mr. Loya's house right there, he would have paletas and shit, and fucking sometimes they'd have like tostitos locos or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and so he was the fucking G. Mr. Blanco was a little bit older, didn't really know any English, and then when we got to junior high school, there was a janitor named Memo, and Memo was fucking cool with everybody. He was always fucking easygoing and chill. So fucking, I feel like when we got to high school, it wasn't as fucking like cool and intimate as it was when we were kids. But when we were in grade school, Doug, fucking Mr. Loya, Mr. Blanco were fucking homies. They were they were, and it was cool because I think Rich nailed it. He said it was cool because they're part of the school, but they're not teachers, right? They're not gonna
No.
they don't give a fuck if you're gonna you're not gonna like, they'll see you on recess or some shit. Maybe they climb up the
Did they come
fucking,
after school? What do you mean recess? I don't remember the janitors hanging out at fucking 9 a.m.
you don't, Doug. We had janitors all throughout the day and
Hell
shit,
nah. They came at the end
fucking
of the day. They
pushing their
cleaned it.
fucking
No,
trash
they
and
cleaned.
shit.
No, they cleaned up your mess. Ours didn't start till like fucking 3-4 o'clock.
Yeah, no, ours fucking were there all
The fuck
day,
they
and it
gonna
was
do? Pick
cool.
up after you and follow you around and pick up your shit?
They were always picking up shit. They were setting up events. They were fucking, your football would land on the roof and shit, and there's fucking Mr. Loya with this fucking ladder climbing up and shit.
You want to hear? You want
Go
to hear
get
a
your
short
ball.
story? You want to hear a small story?
I do. Tell me.
The first time I ever got suspended from school was in 6th grade, right? Marimani Mustang. Marimani was my school. Tip Dog, Mito, fucking Goldie. Many of the people that I've referenced on this show went to Marimani, right?
I didn't know Goldie Hawn went to Miramani, but go ahead.
True fact. So actually it was Goldie, what's his last name?
Fish?
I forgot. Goldie Fish. And so anyhow, fucking long story short, at the end of the fucking day, I was at Marimani in the 6th grade, and we used to play a game called Prison Ball. And I don't remember all the rules, but I remember we would throw it. But I know if you dropped it or it hit you
They
and
fucked
you
you in
didn't
the
catch
ass.
it, no, you were out. You were done. If you didn't catch it or it hit you and it dropped, you were gone. You had to leave the game, right? And so it would just come down to who didn't drop the ball. It's 1 versus 1, and whoever drops it's out. I was being an asshole, and there's a cat that I know to this day. His name's Aaron Peterson. Please cut. His name's AP.
AP. Okay.
Please cut the other one out. And so I fucking threw the ball at AP, and he wasn't even playing. He was a spectator on the sideline. I whacked him with the ball. Bow. So he thought it was this other cat named DA.
Yeah.
And he starts running at fucking DA like he wants to fight. And DA lays him out. Boom! Knocks him out cold. I mean, we're all playing prison ball. There's spectators. There's probably about 40 kids right there, right? Watching this matchup. And I threw a ball at AP. AP thinks it's DA. He starts running at DA. DA lays him out, knocks him out cold, right? We're in 6th grade, lays him out in front of everybody cold. He's like, Speaking of janitors, our janitor at the time's name was Loopy. And Loopy and this other fucker come out and pick up AP on a stretcher in front of all 40 of the students and stretcher his ass back to the nurse's office.
I have, you know what? I have a similar story.
Let's hear it.
So we were in 6th grade again. I don't know. This is where these fucking stories happen, right?
Great.
We're in 6th grade. Me, my friend Freddie, and my homie Johnny. We're all fucking standing right there. Freddie, he was our quarterback in football on our football team.
Okay.
And he's like, he looks, and there's this kid that was annoying as fuck. He was like actually, he was the nephew of the principal, right?
All right.
And my buddy Freddie goes, hey, or was he? I think he was. Well, anyway, my buddy Freddie goes, hey, he had a football, of course, you know, he was the quarterback, so he's always walking around with the football. He was like, hey, I bet you I could. He goes, I bet you I could hit that fool in the fucking dome, right? And we were like, shut the fuck up. He's across the fucking playground, right?
Fuck you, Freddie.
And yeah, right. So now we're egging him on. You can't do that shit. You're a fucking bitch, you know? Oh no, I'll knock him right in the dome. No, you won't. You're fucking pussy, right? You ain't gonna do it. So he fucking launches the football. Hits this dude square the fucking head. And we just see him go, Doug, hit him right in like the fucking temple, right?
That's great. That's great.
Dude fucking goes, boom, and fucking just passes out. And we were like, fuck, right? And nobody was like, oh, because nobody saw it.
Loopy come out of this stretcher?
No, but it's similar, right? So we're right there. Nobody's like, hey, Freddie fucking threw it. We weren't gonna say shit.
Freddie died.
That was the homie, right? So Freddie fucking threw it. This
Oh,
dude
Freddie
falls.
threw it.
Yeah, Freddie threw it. Freddie
What
was
was the
my
kid's
homie.
name who we hit?
I think it was Chris. I think it was Chris. I might be confusing the kids because there was one time this kid Chris got hit in the eye with a softball, and
Okay.
he passed out too. But
Oh shit.
So Freddie hits this dude. He fucking falls. Later,
After
we like
show?
go back to class and shit, right, or whatever. And I'm like walking to the restroom or some shit, and I just see this kid, Doug, on a wheelchair, still passed out. They're pushing him like to the office or the nurse's office or some shit. And I don't know whatever fucking happened to him, Doug. I don't know if he recovered. I don't know if he fucking just disappeared and fucking died. I don't
You
know.
don't know his
But
name?
I want to say it was Chris, but like I said, I could be confusing the story with this other kid, Chris, that I know got hit in the fucking dome.
Right.
Won the face with the softball. I remember that day too, Doug. We're in 6th grade, and we're playing softball in PE. And this
Damn, that
fucking
principal
dork,
needs his ass whooped.
Doug, this fucking dork, he's looking up and he holds his glove, right? And the ball goes and hits him in the fucking face. And we couldn't stand this kid, so we were like, fucking dork. And that's what he gets, you know?
You
So
want your crazy one?
this motherfucker passed out again. Boof. This dude. So it could have been the same kid, it could have been different kids, I don't remember. But I remember that kid, Chris, that got hit with the softball was annoying as fuck. So whatever. But
Well, shout out Franciso because one time when I worked at Food Max, we used to get these ladders, right? Because it was like Costco. So you have like the metal bay type things where your displays are in there and you have storage above them.
just can't get away from the Bay, huh?
Can't.
Fresno, San Francisco, fucking Costco.
You can't get away. Food
If it
Max.
ends with O and it's about the Bay, El Cucuy is gonna be there.
It rhymes with Fresno. So, anyways, Franciso we used to push people around these ladders, and that way, if you're at the third bay and you had to pull stuff down, we would slide it down the ladder, right? Well, speaking of getting fucked up, Franciso, we had to get like a case of menudo, the big can. You ever seen those menudo cans? They're like this big, but they're like $15. Back then they were like $8.99. But it's like 5 pounds of menudo in a can, right? And there's 6 cans in a case. So you're talking like 30 pounds coming at you down a ladder. Well, the fucking cardboard flipped and one of those cans tumbled out and knocked out half his tooth.
Oh, really?
On the job.
Did he ever get that shit fixed? Or
he went and got it fixed.
Oh my goodness.
Because he did not want to be Franciso to Franciso.
Oh, for real? I mean, and those cans are not light. I'm surprised he only knocked out half his tooth.
Well, it only hit the half, but he had to go get it fixed.
Doug, I have one more fucking story, and then we'll wrap it up because we're already going pretty long. But
is it from your feet finder?
Fuck, Doug, no, this shit is another Freddie story that I just remembered. Remember, I told you Freddie hit the dude with the football, right?
Yes.
Well, that was in 6th grade. In 7th grade, it was in 7th or 8th grade when they started, like the NBA started coming out with like custom jerseys that you could order, but they were like shitty. They were like $50 and you can get like a custom your name on the back of it, right? So fucking Cucuy could get Cucuy on the back of it, right? You know, because your first name's El Cucuy. So you know, I remember this was the fucking rage at my school, and I remember all the fucking like basketball players did it, right? My buddy Darren, this black dude, had fucking on the back of his jersey, he had like a Lakers jersey and it said Clark, right? Fucking his last name representing, right? Fucking, and it was the shittiest one you would buy from like East Bay or some shit, right? Where it was just like you put in your custom name. Fucking Doug, my friend Freddie, go back to Freddie. You know what this fucking dumbass puts on his jersey?
What?
Freddie. No, he put his fucking first name on his jersey. Rubio. So you would think he would put fucking Rubio, right? And motherfucker put Freddie. So everybody like was sporting their jerseys.
Why do that?
Because he's a fucking dork, Doug. I was fucking like, I'm looking at everybody. He's like, oh, there's fucking Darren. We had a buddy named Ralph. His last name is Palacio. So you're like, oh, there's Palacio, there's Clark, there's Freddie. That shit was so fucking stupid, dog. I was like,
You still talk
oh
to
my.
Freddie or no?
Actually, you know, I still see him on Facebook and shit. He was riding a motorcycle and shit with like recording a selfie video on his motorcycle.
Oh wow.
That's what you see half the time. He's like this. Oh, you know what? There's a story about him that I'll tell you after we're done recording.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll leave it at that. But anyway, after show but later, episode number 158, your boys D El Cucuy. I'm hoping I get my better camera next fucking week. This one was kind of weird and it looks fucking janky, but it's all good. Like the New York
janky.
So here we are. We will see you guys in episode number 159. Doug, you want to know how long we've been doing this shit? Fucking Kennedy. I was writing my notes today and she looks at it and she goes, Daddy, 158? And I go, yeah. She goes, you guys are already on that many episodes? I was like, fool, what you know about how many episodes, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so here we are. Even Kennedy can't believe it. So after show, but later, we will see you guys in episode number 159. I don't know if Baseline Trey is going to take us out or not, but if he is, until then, find us at AfterShowBL across all social media. You can always hit us up, 928-235-5285, I think. Oh, 928-235. Yeah, 5285. My bad. It's right here on the fucking screen. What? I'm a moron. AfterShowBL across all social media. I can just fucking read it right here. Okay. Make sure you hit us up. You go ahead and subscribe to Covino and Rich on Patreon. But we always have a Covino and Rich listener take us out, and his name is Baseline Trey. Let's go.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens. And come and spend a day in the 757.